not sure what just happened, but what we were doing was we were done heating the crucible, we took the Bunsen burner off, had some camera difficulties, and now we're going to let that sit and cool. You should never weigh a hot crucible or a hot item. Things when they are hot, they will actually weigh a different amount than when they are cool. So we have to let this cool completely before we are able to weigh it. So we're going to pause and come back once this has fully cooled. Okay. Once you have gotten to the point where it has cooled completely, it's time to weigh it. It's important to never touch a crucible after it's been cleaned, because even a small touch from our fingers can add oils to the crucible, which will then change the weight. So I'm going to zero it, which means getting it to 0. There we go. It might have some slight fluctuations. We are under I'm under a vent here. So 0 one more time. Okay, and then weigh it. You'll want to record that value. So you guys should record what you see here. I'm going to record it on mine as well. Actually, you know what? I don't think we actually had to record this. This is why you should always read. I forgot we have to add the copper before we need that weight. So we don't quite need that weight. So now that it's cooled, we need to obtain our copper turnings and add our copper turnings to the scale. So that value is not the one that's important. What's important is once we have some copper. So you want to get a small amount of copper here. Just getting a small piece. There we go. So here you can see we have a small piece of copper turnings. We're going to add this to our crucible. Okay, and now we're going to record that mass, the mass of our crucible plus copper turnings. So I have 13.96, and that last value does vary, but I feel like it lands on 6 more. So 13.966. Once you've done that, you're going to heat the metal crucible over the hot flame for 5 minutes, let it cool, and then remass. So I'm going to take my crucible, put it over my Bunsen burner. I'm going to move my scale out of the way. I'm going to reignite my Bunsen burner. Trying to see if we can get a good view inside that crucible. We may not be able to. Let's try and change the lighting. No. I should have picked a different spot in my lab. I picked probably the worst spot in the lab to do this. But, oh well. Lower this down just a little bit. We want the tip of the inner blue cone to just be kissing the bottom of our crucible. Try and get you a view so you can see. That's what the setup looks like. I don't want to keep my camera there. I don't want to damage my camera from the heat of Bunsen burner, but there, that's a little better. Trying to get some of the white out of the shot. And we have to sit for 5 minutes with this. Seems to be what we need. Okay. So it will start to change color slightly. It's gotten slightly darker, a little hard to see.
Sean Cox, please call 5102. Sean Cox,
Okay.
5102.
Try and get a good shot of this. It is starting to turn slightly silver looking on certain portions of the copper turnings, and even gray on other portions. Again, I'm not trying to throw, I'm sorry guys. I have a cord I'm dealing with. I'm no master photographer. So you can see on this side, slightly silvered, starting to darken, lose coloring. You can see those changes that are happening. Let's sit for a moment. Ooh, that might be the perfect little spot. Not too hot. There we go. By golly, I think Miss Ward's done it. It's not over the flame, but you guys can see inside there. So guys, all I'm doing is I'm just adjusting the flame to make sure the entire piece is really being heated evenly because there's this freeze. You could see that the parts on the outer edges over here were a little less silvered than the rest. So I'm just trying to make sure this whole piece really goes all the way. So you can see that now it's changing colors. So we were really kind of missing parts of that. That's what we like to see. I want to see a nice even on the right hand side. All of that was being nice and evenly darkened. On this other side, coming in from here, it just wasn't. So I'm just making sure that we're really getting the whole thing. Perfect. Alright, now we've been for 5 minutes, so at this point we have to let it cool completely again before we weigh it. We cannot weigh it while it's this hot. It will not give us the values that we need. So now we're going to come back to this when it's paused. I'm going to go ahead and stop this video so it doesn't just keep going. We will come back to it in another video and re-weigh it.